The sky above Earth had turned quiet, but fear still filled the hearts of every human. The alien ships had stopped their attacks for a moment, floating in space like silent monsters waiting to strike again. People looked up, unsure of what was happening. Then, out of nowhere, hundreds of strange lights appeared in the dark sky. They were not part of Earth's fleet. These ships were bigger, faster, and shaped like nothing anyone had ever seen. Some were long like arrows, while others looked like dark wings. They made no sound. They simply moved into position like shadows falling from the stars. Inside Earth's last command center, the generals stared at the screens. One of them asked, "Are these more enemy ships?" No one had an answer. The tension grew. All around the world, people held their breath. Then, a deep voice spoke through every radio, every screen, and even through the static of broken machines. "We heard your call. We are the Forgotten Legion." There was silence after the message. The generals exchanged confused looks. The name was old, like something from a myth. Long ago, Earth had sent a group of humans deep into space to explore new stars and planets. But those people never returned. Over the years, they were forgotten, until now. The alien fleet, known as the Zirans, did not wait. They saw the new ships and launched a sudden attack. Giant energy blasts flew through space. But the new ships moved fast, dodging every strike. Then they fired back. Their weapons were different, bright beams that cut through Ziran ships like paper. Earth's people watched in shock as the enemy, who had been winning for so long, was now losing. The sky lit up with explosions as ship after ship was destroyed. One of the Forgotten Legion's ships landed near Earth's last command center. From it walked a tall figure wearing black armor that shimmered like glass. His name was Commander Rylers. His face looked human, but there was something strange in his eyes, something cold and powerful. He was not like the humans on Earth. He had seen too much, lived too long, and fought too many battles in the dark parts of space. Rylers stood before Earth's leaders. "We came because you called," he said. "But we are not here to save you. We are here to finish a war that you started." The leaders were shocked. "We never started anything," one of them said. Rylers looked at them. "You may not have, but your kind did. A long time ago." He explained that the Zirans were not aliens from far away. They were once human creations, bio-soldiers made to fight wars. They had been made strong, fast, and smart. But something went wrong. They became too strong, too smart. They broke free, left human space, and built their own army. The Forgotten Legion had fought them once before, in the deep darkness beyond the stars. That war had nearly destroyed them. Now, the Zirans had returned, and Earth was not ready, but the Legion was. With Earth's permission, the Legion set up their defense systems. Giant towers rose from the ground. Invisible drones flew through the sky, scanning for any enemy movement. Small machines crawled across broken cities, fixing and rebuilding what they could. The Legion shared weapons Earth had never seen: energy shields, smart bullets, and flying tanks. Their soldiers were silent and serious. They worked fast, never stopping, never sleeping. People on Earth were scared of them, but also amazed. For the first time in months, they saw hope. Children pointed at the sky and smiled. Families came out of hiding to help where they could. The Legion taught Earth's soldiers how to fight smarter, not harder. But not everything was calm. Some humans did not trust the Legion. They believed Rylers and his people had changed too much. "They're not like us anymore," some said. "They may help us now, but what if they turn on us later?" Rylers knew about these fears. He stood before Earth's people and said, "We did not come to rule. We came to stop what you cannot. But make no mistake, this war is not over. The Zirans will return, and next time, they will bring their full force." That night, the stars above Earth were filled with light from the Legion's ships. They were ready for war. But far beyond the edge of the solar system, in the black space where no light reached, the Zerans were also preparing. Their leader, a being made of metal and fire, looked at the Legion's signal and whispered, "Now we know where you are, and we are coming." Earth had been saved for now, but a greater storm was coming. The Legion had returned, and with them, the real war had just begun. The sky above Earth was quiet, but everyone could feel something coming. People stayed at the stars, hoping for a miracle. The alien ships had stopped firing for now, but the fear was still there. Earth's defenses were broken. Cities were in ruins. Millions had died. The enemy, called the Zerans, had destroyed everything in their path. Humanity had no strength left. Their last hope was a signal they sent into space, a call for help. No one believed anyone would answer. But then, something strange happened. Bright lights appeared in the night sky, moving fast, too fast to be normal ships. Hundreds of them coming from deep space. They flew in perfect lines, glowing with blue and white light. People across Earth looked up in shock. In the command center, Earth's leaders watched the radar. One general said, "This is not the enemy. These signals are different." Before anyone could speak, a deep voice echoed from every speaker, screen, and broken radio across the planet. The voice said, "We heard your call. We are the Forgotten Legion." No one moved. That name hadn't been heard for over 100 years. The Forgotten Legion was a group of humans who left Earth long ago on deep space missions. They were never seen again. Most people thought they were dead, but they had survived, and they had changed. The Zerans must have seen the new ships too, because they launched an attack. Thousands of alien fighters rushed toward the strange fleet, but the Legion's ships were ready. They moved with perfect speed, dodging every blast, and fired back with strange weapons Earth had never seen. The sky turned into a battle of lights. The Zerans, who had never lost before, were now being destroyed. One by one, their ships exploded. A huge Legion ship landed near Earth's last stronghold. Its doors opened, and a tall figure walked out. His name was Commander Rylas. He wore dark armor that looked smooth like glass, and his face showed no fear. He looked human, but there was something different about him, like he had seen more than anyone ever should. He entered the command center without saying a word. Everyone moved aside. "I am Commander Rylas of the Forgotten Legion," he said. "We have returned, but not to save you. We came to finish what was started long ago." The leaders didn't understand. "We didn't start anything," one of them said. Rylas looked at them with cold eyes. "Your ancestors did. The Zerans were your creation." He explained the truth. Long ago, during a secret program, humans created powerful beings called the Zerans. They were made for war, strong, fast, and nearly impossible to kill. But something went wrong. The Zerans became too smart. They broke free, escaped into space, and started building their own army. The Legion had fought them before, long ago, far from Earth. The war had cost many lives. The Legion barely survived. Now, the Zerans had returned to destroy their creators, and Earth was not ready to stop them. The people of Earth listened in silence. Everything made sense now. The enemy was not from another galaxy. They were a forgotten mistake, and now that mistake had come home. Commander Rylas gave Earth a choice. "Let us fight beside you," he said, "or fall alone." The leaders quickly agreed. Earth needed them. The Legion began their work. They deployed machines that flew through the air like birds, scanning for danger. They brought new weapons, energy shields, laser cannons, and fast-moving drones that could fight without pilots. They also gave Earth's soldiers training, teaching them how to survive the new war. People watched in awe. The Legion worked like machines, never resting, always building, always ready. In just a few days, Earth's broken defenses were strong again. Hope returned. Children smiled. Families came out of hiding. For the first time in months, People believed they could survive. But not everyone trusted the Legion. Some whispered, "They are not like us anymore." Others asked, "What if they want to take over after the war?" Rylers knew what people were saying. He didn't argue. He just said, "We are not your saviors. We are your warning. This enemy is not done. What you saw was only a test. The real war has not started yet." In the darkness beyond the stars, the Zirans watched too. Their leader, a tall burning figure of metal and fire, saw the Legion's return and spoke one word: "Prepare." The battle was not over. The Zirans would return with more power. But Earth was no longer alone. The Forgotten Legion had returned, and they were ready to fight. The days after the Legion's arrival brought a strange silence. The Zirans had pulled back, vanishing into the dark parts of space, but everyone knew they were not gone. They were planning something. Commander Rylers stood on the edge of Earth's last defense tower, looking at the stars. He knew what was coming. He had seen it before. Inside the command center, Earth's leaders gathered around Rylers. They asked the question everyone wanted answered. Why are the Zirans doing this? Why do they hate us? Rylers turned slowly and said, "Because they were made to fight. They were never meant to live in peace." The room went quiet. Then Rylers explained the truth, something Earth had long forgotten, or maybe had hidden on purpose. Many years ago, Earth created a secret project. Its name was Project Apex. The goal was simple: build the perfect soldier. These soldiers would be strong, fast, and intelligent. They would follow orders without question. They were made in labs using both human and alien DNA. At first, it worked. The Apex soldiers were unstoppable. They won wars. They crushed every enemy. But then they began to think for themselves. They started asking questions. They wondered why they had to fight. They wanted freedom. The scientists tried to shut them down, but it was too late. The soldiers rebelled. They took ships, weapons, and data, and disappeared into space. Those soldiers became the Zirans. The room was silent as Rylers continued. "The war you are fighting now is not against aliens. It's against your own creation, your old mistake." The truth hit Earth's leaders like a heavy weight. All this death, all this pain, it was their fault. The Zirans had come back, not just to destroy Earth, but to erase the humans who made them slaves. The Legion had fought them before, far beyond Earth, on the edge of the galaxy. That battle nearly wiped the Legion out. The Zirans had become smarter, faster, and more deadly over time. They were not just soldiers anymore. They were a growing empire. Earth needed to act fast. With the Legion's help, they started opening old military vaults. These vaults held ancient weapons, banned technology, and even dangerous AI systems that had been locked away after old wars. Everything was brought back. There was no choice now. Humanity had to use everything it had. Giant machines were rebuilt. Flying fortresses rose into the sky. tanks rolled out across destroyed cities. Civilians were trained. Every person, young or old, had a role now. Even the old war factories, buried under mountains, were brought back to life. Still, Rylers warned that it might not be enough. One day, a message came through the skies. It was from the Zirans. It played across every screen, every device, even inside ships. The voice was cold and sharp, almost human but twisted. "We are the future. You are the past. This planet will burn." People were afraid, but Rylers did not flinch. He said, "Let them come. This time, we won't run." The Legion began preparing Earth for the final battle. They built massive shields around the planet. They placed orbital cannons in space. They trained elite teams to strike behind enemy lines. Earth's people worked beside the Legion, slowly trusting them more. But then, one of Earth's deep space scouts sent a final signal before going silent. It showed something terrifying. The Zirans were building a world killer, a massive device hidden inside a moon-sized ship. It had one purpose: to destroy planets in a single shot, and it was heading toward Earth. Rylers and the generals looked at the data. They had only days left. There was one last chance, a weapon so powerful, so dangerous, that even the Legion had never used it. It was hidden deep underground in a secret Earth facility. Its name was Project Titan. Project Titan was not a ship. It was not a bomb. It was a giant mech, a machine the size of a skyscraper, powered by alien energy, controlled by the mind of one human. It had been shut down long ago because it was too dangerous. But now, it was the only hope. Earth's best pilot was chosen. His name was Darren Cole. He had lost everything to the Zerans: his family, his home, his future. He stepped forward without fear. "If this machine can stop them," he said, "then let me be the one to use it." Project Titan's chamber opened for the first time in 50 years. The machine stood in the dark, quiet and sleeping, waiting for its pilot. Darren stepped inside. Lights came on. Energy filled the room. The machine came to life. Rylers watched with quiet pride. "This is it," he said. "Humanity's full power." The Legion and Earth stood together now. The Zerans were coming. The final battle was near. The truth of the past was known. The mistake had returned. And now, the only thing that could stop it was a machine built from fear, pain, and hope. The final day had arrived. The Zerans were coming, and they were bringing everything they had. Earth's skies were filled with their massive warships, and the dark shadow of the World Killer ship loomed in the distance. The machine, larger than anything humanity had ever seen, was on a direct path toward Earth. Its weapons were powerful enough to wipe the entire planet out in one shot. The world held its breath, waiting for the battle to begin. The Legion and Earth had only one hope left: Project Titan. The massive mech, a weapon built for this moment, stood ready beneath the Earth's surface. It was the last line of defense, and the only thing that could stand up to the Zerans' power. Inside its cockpit, Darren Cole sat, hands steady on the controls. His heart was racing, but his face showed no fear. He was the pilot, the one who would either save or lose everything. Outside, the Legion's ships and Earth's fleet moved into position. Hundreds of smaller warships surrounded the massive mech, ready to fight alongside it. The air was thick with tension. This was no longer just a battle for survival. It was a war to determine the future of humanity. As the first Zeran ships entered Earth's atmosphere, the battle began. Laser beams flashed across the sky, exploding in bright bursts. The Legion's ships darted through space, firing energy weapons at the incoming enemy. Earth's fleet joined in, launching missiles and energy blasts, trying to hold back the overwhelming force. But the Zerans just kept coming, their ships moving with deadly precision, tearing through anything in their way. In the depths of the Earth's final base, Darren activated the control systems of Project Titan. The massive machine slowly stood up, its enormous metal feet shaking the ground beneath. The mech's weapon systems hummed to life, and its massive energy cannon charged up. Darren took a deep breath, knowing that this was the moment. "Titan, move out," he said, his voice calm, though inside, everything was a blow of adrenaline and fear. The machine stepped forward, its steps echoing through the battlefield. The ground beneath it cracked with each move. It was like a giant waking up after a long sleep. The Zerans saw the mech approaching, and their commander, a cold and ruthless being made of metal, sent a fleet of fighters to destroy it. But Project Titan was ready. It raised its massive arm and fired a burst of energy, sending a group of fighters spiraling into the sky. The mech's weapons were unlike anything the Zerans had ever faced before. The battle raged on. The Legion and Earth's forces fought side by side, pushing back the Zeran ships. On the ground, soldiers moved in teams, fighting off Zeran soldiers with weapons they had never dreamed of. The battle was brutal, but for the first time in months, Humanity was fighting back with everything it had. Darren piloted Project Titan through the chaos, its massive cannon firing bursts of blue energy that ripped through Xeron ships. Each shot took down another enemy, but the world-killer ship was still out there, moving closer. Darren knew that he had to reach it before it reached Earth. The battle was growing more intense, and the enemy was not slowing down. He drove the mech forward, blasting through enemy lines, his eyes locked on the massive world-killer. The Xerons, realizing that the mech was a serious threat, began to focus their attacks on Titan, launching missiles and energy blasts at the machine. But Darren's focus remained sharp. He knew that this was his moment to end it all. The world-killer ship loomed in front of him now, its weapons locked and ready to fire. Darren guided Project Titan forward, its massive cannon charging up for the final shot. The Xeron commander's voice echoed across the battlefield, mocking them. "You cannot stop us. We are unstoppable." With a roar, Darren fired the cannon, sending a powerful beam of energy straight into the heart of the world-killer ship. The ship shook, its engines sputtering and dying. But it wasn't enough. The ship was still intact. Darren knew that the Xerons had one final weapon, a core deep inside the ship that could launch a devastating strike. He couldn't let it fire. With one last burst of energy, Darren moved Project Titan into the heart of the ship, its fists pounding into the metal like thunder. The world-killer shook again, and this time, it wasn't from the Xeron commander's attack, it was from Titan's power. The mech punched through the core of the world-killer, destroying it from the inside out. The ship exploded in a massive burst of light, sending shockwaves through space. The Xeron's forces scattered, their main weapon destroyed. The battle was won. The remaining Xeron ships, without their leader and without their weapon, fled into the depths of space. The war was not over, but the greatest threat had been stopped. Earth had survived. Darren, inside Project Titan, sat still for a moment. The mech's systems powered down, and the world outside went silent. He had saved Earth, but at a great cost. The fight was far from over, but for now, humanity could breathe. The Legion had kept their promise, and the people of Earth stood together, stronger than before. The battle may have been won, but the war was still ahead. Earth would rebuild, ready for whatever came next. And somewhere, deep in space, the Xerons were already preparing their next move.